Hello everyone, I'm here to tell you my top 10 Pokemon of all time that I have experienced. So, let us begin. Number 10, Sableye. This combination, Ghost and Dark, was the first of its type combo. It appeared in the generation of Ruby and Sapphire. If you look at it, it almost looks like either a mix between a Haunter and a Gengar and some sort of crystal glasses. But that's not what really got this Pokemon at the number 10 list. The fact is that this Pokemon can eat rocks. But that's not the only part. What really got me was the fact that it has the Ghost and Dark combo. Most people speculate that that type combo should have been only given to the Pokemon known as Spiritomb, seeing as how that's technically a legendary Pokemon. I'm afraid that isn't quite right. Back in the old days, this Pokemon was very popular. However, it only appeared in the Sapphire version whenever it first came out. This was very disconcerting for a bunch of Ruby players who could not find Sableye. Well, actually, I guess I can't really say that. You see, Sableye actually appeared in Ruby, but it was extremely rare to find. However, in Sapphire, it was really common to find one of these. Can you blame the Ruby players? No, I guess you cannot. But once it came out in Emerald, you just could not stop finding these things in ghost hunting grounds or in caves. With a combo of Dark and Ghost, this thing has no true weaknesses whatsoever. Nothing can hurt it to the point of super effective. Absolutely nothing at all. And it even has a special ability called Keen Eye, which prevents its accuracy from ever being affected. That was really cool. Sableye, for that reason, is now at number 10. Number 9. Landorus. This is a very, very interesting legendary. It has a unique type combo, flying and ground. It is very unique in the fact that both ground attacks and electric attacks do nothing to it whatsoever. Very, very interesting. Its head resembles that of some sort of cat. But if you look at its Therian form, or its true form, as most people call it, it resembles a tiger. Most people would say that about Raikou. There are people that speculate that Raikou and Landorus in its Therian form might be somehow related to each other. But I digress. This Pokemon can only be found in the Pokemon Black and White games only after you have collected both Tornadus and Thundurus, and then take them both to the shrine. They were always at odds with each other. But Landorus was the one who always ended up calming them down. Strangely enough, no one knows whatever happened to the Pokemon. After Landorus quieted them down for the first time. But apparently something may have awakened in them and caused them to go on a rampage. You have to be very careful with these Pokemon. Landorus will not run away from a fight, though. I do not quite understand, but in the Pokemon game, or show, Ash had to stop Giovanni from using Meloetta and the mirror to destroy the world using those three Pokemon, Tornadus, Landorus, and Thundurus. But that's beside the point. What is the point is the fact that he works so well with the other two Pokemon. His Earthquake attack can actually save his can actually damage all opponents on his side of the field and leave his brethren safe because they are both flying types as well. Thundurus especially, because Thundurus is an electric type, and we all know how well electricity and land get along, well, when land is used on electricity. Some people just don't learn. There is a bit of a weakness with it, though. If someone happens to use the gravity ability, or gravity attack, I should say, then Tornadus, Thundurus, and Landorus would be at an extreme disadvantage. But, being as Landorus is a ground type, there is its weakness to water. But there is one big weakness to this Pokemon. Ice. That is a very, very critical weakness right there. But that is beside the point. The point is that with the way its type combo is, you barely ever would you think of a combo like that. So, for the type combo, Landorus has reached number 9. Number 8. Torterra. This is a unique Pokemon. It is every fire type's worst nightmare. This Pokemon is both a grass and a ground type. With that, the super effectiveness of fire against grass goes out the window whenever it comes to this. Plus, its ground type attacks make fire types rather frustrated. It is one of the best grass type Pokemon I have ever seen in my entire life. Because of it having its ground type features, it is immune to most attacks. It is almost... most moves that are super effective against it are out the door. The problem is the same with Landorus. The biggest weakness that this Pokemon has is Ice type attacks. Being as both ground and grass are both weak against Ice type. And ground type attacks aren't effective against flying types. And grass type moves aren't very effective, which means grass which means flying types would also be at a big advantage for that. But it's not that bad if you look at it. I mean, most people would go for fire types, but in this case, Torterra would be a very, very big asset against fighting and fire types, kind of like Blaziken or Infernape. But there's also another type that will actually do a double super effective job against Torterra. Bug type. Ugh. That's just yuck. But all in all, the fact that Torterra would be a disaster for fighting type, or fire and fighting, I'd have to say that this is what puts Torterra at number 8. Number 7. Mew. The most rarest of all the Pokemon. Very tough to find. This Pokemon has been known to be a little bit of a trickster. It knows every trick in the book. Even the ability to transform and teleport and surround itself with a pink bubble. Mew also has the ability to learn every hidden and technical move in the entire game. It is a strange Pokemon, yet a very playful Pokemon. Makes you wonder how powerful it really is. If at all possible, Mew itself could very well be the first Pokemon ever. Because, according to the legends, it has the DNA of all Pokemon inside of it. And that's what gives it its ability to transform. It has been so well sought after that while in the attempts to clone it, apparently the process created Ditto, which has been revealed to be true, that Ditto is a failed cloning experiment to create Mew. But Mew, I have to say, is one of the more powerful Pokemons, and its cuteness factor is just through the roof. But it's not enough to make it higher than the remaining ones. So, for the sole reason of being able to transform and to be able to learn every hidden and technical move, I put Mew at my number 7. Number 6. Mewtwo. Yes, I put Mewtwo above Mew on my list. It is a clone of Mew, but it does not have the ability to shapeshift into the other Pokemon. And it does not have the ability to learn all the hidden and technical moves like Mew does. But Mewtwo has a certain flair that makes it more human than anything. Plus, with its ability to Mega Evolve, you have to admit that's a big bonus right there. There have been known to be 2 Mewtwo's so far. One which currently apparently resides in the Johto region, and another one that Ash had come across in his journeys with his friends whenever they first come across Genesect in the new movie. Thus also revealing Mewtwo's Mega Y form. Mewtwo... I don't know if you can call it a perfect clone of Mew or not. Well, no, you can't. Mewtwo is as powerful as Mew, but there's just so many unanswered questions. Like, there's some reason why Mewtwo makes it higher than Mew for some reason. I just don't know why. It's just a feeling I get. But in the first movie, Mewtwo understood that life, no matter what form it was created in, is still life. Well, actually, no, that was the Mewtwo Returns movie that it learned that. But in the Pokemon games, you can get it for sure. It is just so cool. So, Mewtwo makes number 6 the fact that it's learning. And it knows the true value of life. Number 5, Zoroark. The Master of Illusions in the evolved form of Zorua. Zoroark has more how shall we say, control over its illusions. While in the video games, its abilities are the same. Its ability is the same as Zorua. While in the anime and the shows, Zorua is only able to take on the form, shall we say, of another. While Zoroark is able to not only do that, but also create illusions around the place, so that way it can truly deceive an opponent. Zorua has been able to produce an illusion like that, but its illusion is weaker than its evolved form. Zorua may be cuter, but Zoroark has a bit of a better instinct. And it's more caring than tricky. However, catching one is not easy. But it is powerful in its illusions. Its Dark Pulse and powerful attack, other powerful attacks like that, you just can't top that. So, for that reason of being the master of illusions, I give the 5th spot to Zoroark. Go figure. Number 4, Pikachu. Yes, the most beloved and the poster Pokemon of the entire Pokemon franchise is at number 4 for me. I just couldn't get behind Pikachu enough to put it in the top spot. But Pikachu is a very well-known Pokemon in the fact that it can learn an electric-type move like Volt Tackle. It is the most well-known ever, but it's just not number one material for me. Its thunder attacks are very powerful. Well, I should say electric attacks, not thunder. But let's face it. There's just so much wrong with Pikachu, like for the fact that it takes a Thunderstone in order to evolve. Pokemon like Pikachu are very unique. Sometimes their personalities change. That's why some Pikachu refuse to evolve. I cannot blame some people for keeping their Pikachu the way they are, but to force a Pikachu to evolve is wrong. I would love to let a Pikachu decide if it wants to evolve or not. But for its well-known likeness, I have to give this to Pikachu. It's cute, it's powerful, and it's very loyal to those who treat it right. So, top 4 spot, the number 4 spot, I should say, goes to Pikachu. Number 3, Eevee. One of the most enigmatic Pokemon of all time. In the manga, Eevee had been known to be able to use evolutionary stones in order to evolve into its first 3 forms. But then also had the ability to revert back. But once it learned how to evolve without the use of stones, it lost the ability to revert back. Eevee is at number 3 for me because of its cuteness and the fact that it has so many evolutionary forms, including the new fairy type Sylveon. However, in the Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness game, Eevee was shown to be able to evolve into Umbreon or Espeon by using either a Moonstone, or rather, it might have been a Duststone, or a Sunstone. In order to evolve into Glaceon or Leafeon, you had to level it up near a certain stone, a certain rock in the games, and apparently in the anime too. Eevee is one of the cutest ever. You gotta love it. It can learn Mirror Move, or for what I saw in the manga, I should say. But the reason it is just so cute. I pick it out of all the others because I just cannot, out of all of its other evolutions, because I cannot pick between them all. So that's why I have to pick Eevee for number 3. Because it has so many evolutionary forms that I cannot pick just one out of them. So Eevee, you're my number 3. Number 2, Absol. The disaster Pokemon, and one of the most well-known Dark-type Pokemon ever. this Pokemon is at an epicness, all rolled up in a nice little shell of awesomeness that just makes you want to get it. This was one of the rarest Pokemon ever. You needed patience in order to catch this in the games. Me? I got lucky in every game from Ruby and Emerald and Sapphire all the way up except for Fire Red Leaf Green, and got it almost as soon as I found one. Every time I encounter one, I always end up catching it. It just looks so cool. And the way it stands on rocks in the anime, it's just so perfect and majestic. But it's not number one for me. The reason I'm putting Absol at number 2 is because it's legendary, but it's not legendary, like Arcanine. Absol may be a dark type Pokemon, but it's not one of the mischievous types. It is, in fact, the reason it is nicknamed the Disaster Pokemon is because it can forewarn of disaster. Its best attacks it's known for are Mega Wind, or Mega Horn, and Razor Wind. I apologize for that. I tend to mix their attacks together for added effect. But Mega Horn and Razor Wind, those two attacks are just epic. And the fact that it can Mega evolve into a winged version of itself, from what I've seen, it's just so awesome. And the fact that it's just one-sided on the horn, it only has one horn, just, makes it even cooler, because it gives it a story. I mean, did the first Absol have two horns and one just got taken off by accident? Who knows? And Absol's debut in Jirachi Wishmaker was just so awesome. Absol just has a certain aura of awesomeness that I have to put it at number 2. Finally, we are at number 1, Gardevoir, and I will be including the entire Gardevoir line inside of this reasoning. I have had fantasies of where I start off rescuing a Ralts and raising it as my Pokemon partner, as my first Pokemon partner, and being its trainer. Gardevoir just, it's the most amazing. It feeds on its trainer's emotions. That's what gives it its energy and its nourishment. It feeds on its trainer's mental energy. And they are the most caring Pokemon of all. And they will do anything to protect their trainers. Gardevoir, oh man, just forget it. Gardevoir is just so amazing. They will, according to the Pokédex entries, they will expend their psychic energy in order to create a black hole in order to protect their trainers. Gardevoir is just so amazing. And while I agree that the fighting and psychic type combo of Gallade is awesome, I just prefer Gardevoir because of what it really feels towards its trainer. Gardevoir has to be the best out of my top 10 because of its dedication to its trainer. Treat it right, and it will treat you kindly back. So, that wraps up my top 10 Pokemon of all time. Thank you for watching. Adios.